Azhar Saab, just to bring you in here, that's exactly it, isn't it? That in the modern context, when we heard the term Islamic State, it builds fear in people's mind because they fear Talibanization. We've talked about subjects on previous programs whereby there's a fear instilled in non-Muslims over the perception, yet the virtues, the fundamentals which you highlighted earlier, actually demonstrate the beauties manifested within the true context and the true model of what is an Islamic State. But here we are. Pakistan is facing many challenges, and as from a historical context and in today's context, Ahmadi Muslims, like many other citizens of Pakistan, want to see that country progress. And the question again, which I said to Ali, I posed to yourself as well, what next? What should the state authorities, the local and the national authorities be doing to actually nip it in the bud?
Yes, this is the ultimate point. I mean, having listened to the discussion of these distinguished colleagues here, sitting back as one who has lived in Pakistan, I lived there for 6 years, I saw the nation, I realized what this nation could be with proper governance inside and the citizens and the resources, everything is there to make this a great state. But there were many things lacking in terms of institutional, in terms of laws, in terms of policies. And this causes you to feel that we're all being cheated. Not just Pakistan as a community, but everyone linked to it. Now, earlier, as Mujibur Rahman was saying, that this situation, if it's not checked now in the bud, as we're saying, it will spread. I recall the fourth Khalifa mentioning the exact same words in terms of relations between Pakistan and India. And he said that if you do not check the extremist elements in Pakistan now and allow them to continue on the path of becoming the politicians, a theocratic government in a sense, you will see the same rise of such elements in your neighbor and in India, and what will stop them now from overwhelming with their policies, with their attitudes, and their perhaps physical attacks on your mosques, on your people, to get them to be coerced into accepting their rule in their governments. You see, there will be no end to this. Now, coming from the USA, I have the same situation I see in my own country. We have set commission after commission to try to stop terrorism in the world. And surprisingly, they're all pointing back now to Pakistan, because they realize, again, the roots of this terrorist element is somehow linked to this nation. Now, that is very unfortunate if we're going to say it's linked to a nation that is a nation of Muslims. And somehow, therefore, they link it to the faith that we believe, the faith of Islam. For that has nothing to do with the faith of Islam. The faith of Islam guarantees rights of people. It establishes peace. It supports healthy relationships with neighbors on an international level. And lastly, as you know, the basic of the question here is, what can be done? Ask them, if nothing else, to honor the treaties that they as Muslims have already signed. The human rights charters, indeed, which they have signed in the UN, saying that we will guarantee the freedom of religion to every people in our state, to practice, to preach, to profess the faith. This is a signatory of that document. We should put pressure on them that, if nothing else, be true to your treaties, be true to this charter, and establish the rights of the citizens. We're not asking them to give us anything. We're just asking them to grant us our rights, our deserved rights, and all citizens of the nation. Then they will live up to, whether you call it the earlier statements of the charter, the statement by Qadi Azam, or later on expositions, to be true to the fact of being a Muslim country, having signed on to Charter of UN human rights, and establish that for all the citizens. Then we can move forward. Without that, I can only see this thing spreading further and further. And as we have been hearing the warnings, it's not getting any better for Pakistan. And I've not been back in 20 years, and every day I think, is this a nation I would ever want to go back and visit at this point, having known what it was then and what it has become now in these 20 years of complete digression as a community.
And I think that fear isn't just limited to being of the Ahmadi Muslim community. It's a general perception, unfortunately, for what was hope from Pakistan. Within the few discussions we've been having, one of the names which has come to the fore in various contexts, even today, and indeed in the media reports that were covered off, was the name of Hazrat Chaudhry Muhammad Zarifullah Khan Sahib, who was indeed a member of the Ahmadi Muslim community. He was a very close confidant and friend of Muhammad Ali Jinnah Sahib, Qaid-e-Azam as he's known in Pakistan. and was also indeed a distinguished foreign secretary, foreign minister of Pakistan, and a very distinguished career as well. Now, one of the allegations which, ironically, when certain arguments are lost which were being made, was that somehow the Ahmadi Muslim community is not working for Pakistan, is not in favor of the state of Pakistan, and various allegations were made both against the community and then specifically against Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib. Mujib Sahib, if I could bring you...
Those allegations are belied by our history. History has its own language. History speaks. You may distort history, you could never destroy history. But before I go on to that question, the last question which my brother Azhar Nadeef was dealing, what to do, I will only add two sentences or two words. We have to do away with the culture of impunity. Everybody, every criminal, every terrorist does a thing and gets away with it. That culture of impunity has to be done away with, and for that we have to have good law enforcement. The other thing, on the conceptual level, the culture of exclusionism, exclusionary politics has to be brought to an end. You are going on excluding one section after the other. First exclude the Ahmadis, then exclude the Shias, then exclude this one, so that exclusionary politics in a pluralistic society is a dangerous thing to do. The politics has to be inclusionary, include everybody, bring everybody to the mainstream. That is the answer to our problem. Now about this Ahmadi community not being
patriots, perhaps.
I have not said, I have not heard any serious person saying that Ahmadiyya community is not patriot, or that they are lacking in patriotism, because the history is full of events where Ahmadis have given their lifeblood. About Sir Zafrullah Khan, you said, Sir Zafrullah Khan, when Pakistan was created, he had a stature of his own in his own right, and Pakistan selected, and Quaid-e-Azam selected him. He was a member of the League of Nations. He represented the British government in League of Nations. When United Nations was formed and when its charter was being drafted out, Zafrullah Khan was an active participant. Go and see the documents of United Nations. Zafrullah Khan was a towering personality. His presence in United Nations was enough for the introduction of Pakistan. Pakistan was a new country, nobody knew Pakistan. But Zafrullah Khan was known before the creation of Pakistan, and he worked so hard for the creation of Pakistan, which is difficult to imagine. Now about Zafrullah Khan, Quaid-e-Azam trusted him. He handed over the case of Muslim League before the Boundary Commission to be argued by Sir Zafrullah Khan. I have read those proceedings. Those proceedings have now been published. It is the partition of Punjab, published in 4 volumes. The whole proceedings, it's really revealing to read those. But in the end, there was the closing address by Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib and the closing address by Sitalwad, who was the counsel for the Congress. And you read the 2 closing addresses. After the closing address, Sitalwad complimented Chaudhry Zafrullah Khan Sahib, and he said, if the case is decided on the basis of your arguments and their merits, you have won your case. But we know that the cases were decided on some basis of conspiracy here. And then after partition, see, there are services which individuals have rendered. There are services which the community has rendered as a community. When Boundary Commission case was argued, Sir Zafrullah Khan had no material. The second Khalifa, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Sani, he ordered the books from England. There is a well-known author, Mr. Spate, on how to demarcate the boundaries. And I think Mr. Spate was also invited on the expense of the Ahmadiyya community. His book was produced here. It was flown from London to Lahore at that time. The Ahmadiyya community has at every step rendered valuable services. And then, you know, in 1965 war and 1971 war, generals who became martyrs were Ahmadis. In Pakistan Air Force, squadron leader Muniruddin, he was an Ahmadi. Akhtar Malik was an Ahmadi. He is known to be one of the best generals of Pakistan Army. Abdul Ali Malik was an Ahmadi. He fought the biggest tank battle in Sialkot. And then individually, M.M. Ahmad, he served Pakistan and at very crucial moments. M.M. Ahmad brought a policy at the time when Pakistan economy was going to ruins, and he brought the demonetization, which was a new concept at that time. The demonetization brought out all the hidden wealth because he demonetized the currency. M.M. Ahmad, Professor Abdul Salam, look at that man. My country is unfortunate they have not honored their heroes. Dr. Abdul Salam did not surrender his Pakistan passport. He was entitled to a British passport. He did not surrender his passport, and when somebody said, why don't you do that? He said, I want this honor of Nobel Prize to go to Pakistan. And this Pakistan did not honor him. That was the sentiment which an Ahmadi had. That was the sentiment of a true Ahmadi. And look at him. Dr. Abdul Salam was not a rugged village man. He had lived all his life in Oxford and Cambridge and had taught here and had lived here, had worked, researched here. And when he went for Nobel Prize, what did he choose? Not a suit and a tie. He chose his turban, he chose his salwar and ashkan. Why? To give the identity of a Punjabi gentry, Pakistani gentry. And yet somebody has the cheeks to say that Ahmadis have not rendered any service to Pakistan. I mean, I could go on counting ad infinitum. It's not a serious talk. It is a loose talk by clerics and mullahs. No, see, go to the Pakistan administration, go to the Foreign Office, go to intelligentsia. They will not say Ahmadis have not done anything for Pakistan. But Ahmadis have built Pakistan. They will continue to build Pakistan. They will live and die for Pakistan.